the current affairs of 3rd July 2025. Important topic is palliative care. Now, this is different from curative care. In curative care, the focus is on curing the disease, right? In palliative care, you're focusing on other dimensions. It's like physical, emotional, social, spiritual needs of the person. And the idea is that you have to alleviate pain, you have to improve the life quality, you have to reduce suffering. So, nearly 1 crore Indians need it, and almost 1% have access to this palliative care. Right? And National Health Policy of 2017, it has a mention of palliative care also. But what is required is capacity building, funding, embedding this thing in medical education. That is required. The next thing important article is regarding artificial intelligence. Now, as we know that AI has been already inculcated in our critical infrastructure. It is used in various defense sectors, modules. It is used, so it is integrated slowly in different sectors like education, health. We know this thing. So a very coordinated AI strategy is required at a pan-India level. And we know that data is a raw material for AI. Artificial intelligence models, they are trained on different set of data, and in order to have a robust AI strategy, we also should have our own AI generative models. And we know that artificial intelligence, these the computers and the supercomputers which are connected to it, which process so much of data, they need energy, and it is a very energy intensive domain. So, and different important cities like Bangalore, where which are IT hubs, now they are already facing water deficiency. So underground water depletion is it's a cause of concern in those cities. So we need to holistically see the things, the problem areas, and how can we find solution, how can we have our own coordinated AI strategy. And we also know this thing that with the AI, a lot of automation is coming, and this automation is transforming the employment market. In 2024 itself, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, they laid off nearly 65,000 jobs. So because of AI, a lot of jobs are being people are losing jobs also. Rather, we can also say that the job market is getting transformed, right? So we need to focus on employment transition, because now new kind of jobs will be created. People who have skills regarding AI, they will be more in demand than somebody who does not want to upgrade himself or herself. Similarly, workforce planning is required, social protection, these kind of things we need to focus on. So civil society group should come forward. So government, civil society group, in all the stakeholders together, they should plan out a coordinated AI strategy. So again, the risk also we should take in mind, like bias or the discrimination that we often see in AI results. And similarly, accountability, that is also it's a gray area. You don't know who to declare anybody accountable if the AI result is not appropriate. And we know that a lot of things are dependent on these AI models. Like I already said earlier, that critical infrastructure, defense, they have been slowly and steadily, AI is getting integrated at a very deeper level in these sectors. So accountability, that is an issue. Similar, so a very nuanced regulatory framework is required, which addresses all the concerns, and which can turn AI into a very useful tool for development of our highest potential. So that kind of policy and framework is required, and which also addresses our data privacy concerns. So the next article is regarding gig workers. So Code on Social Security 2020, it mentions gig workers. So gig and the platform workers, as we know, they are they are hired for short periods, like for on task basis. For gigs, they are hired. It's not a regular job where there's job security and everything. If there's a task, you are hired and so on. So it's not on the basis of time basis, it's task basis. And Niti Aayog's 2022 report says that by 2030 there will be approximately 2.3 crore gig workers. Right? And the good news is that they have already been integrated with e-Shram portal. Now digital ID cards are being given to them. Similarly, they are being integrated in Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. So obviously the government needs to work more on giving more protection to gig workers. The next is Punjab PCS 2021. So the 40 to 60 questions which are coming regarding, which was there in 2021 paper. So the first 40 questions we have already discussed. Now it is 40 to 60 questions. We are just analyzing कि किस तरह के questions आ रहे हैं, की theme areas, की core areas है. So there was question related to कि है ना जो कड़ी core industries नहीं है, 8 core industries as we know. So ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ core industries ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ नहीं है. Then there was a question regarding domestically systematically important bank DSIBs. So other related questions banks ठीक है. Then payment and small financial bank ऊपर question से. Then there was a question regarding NPS non performing assets कि doubtful assets केड़े है, stressed assets केड़े है, substandard assets केड़े है. So एक clear होना चाहिए कि कदों कोई asset categorize हो जाता है NPA, right? Then there's check truncation system. So RBI ने जो start किया था सी उधर related question सी. So then there was question regarding National Payment Corporation of India. So एक shared ATM network सी बनाया सी उधर ऊपर एक question सी like what is it about. Then there was question regarding credit rating agency. Then there was question regarding TRETS. So this kind of government initiative. So angel tax ऊपर question सी. So usual principal status कि केड़े domain चे चीज़ां use होंदियां. So as we know employment no find out currently. So these kind of terms are used. Usual principal status. So then there was question regarding general agreement on trade and services जो WTO का part है. So other related questions here. So then non-tax revenue sources of government. That was a question. There was a question on that. So then there was a question on consumer price index and wholesale price index WPI, CPI, which are important topics as we know. There was a question regarding commission on agriculture cost and prices. So MSP, CACP at the per question see. Then escrow account की हुंदा है OC. Then mineral laws amendment bill 2020 उधर pass होया सी. So other related question see. Then एक सी क्वेश्चन गवर्नमेंट इनिशिएटिव्स ਨੂੰ मैच करना है ਕਿਹੜੇ ਏਰੀਆ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਲਿੰਕ ਨੇ ਲਾਈਕ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਪਲੇਸ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਲਿੰਕਡ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਨਾਮ ਪੋਰਟਲ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ. ਸੋ ਲਾਈਕ दैट. Then there was question regarding export preparedness index 2020. So वो इंपॉर्टेंट है ठीक है. मतलब इस तरह के इंडेक्स के ऊपर भी क्वेश्चन आ जाते हैं. दैन वर्ल्ड बैंक ने इंडिया ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਕੈਟੇਗਰੀ 'ਚ ਕਲਾਸੀਫਾਈ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਲਾਈਕ ਇਜ਼ ਇਟ ਮਿਡਲ ਇਨਕਮ ਕੰਟਰੀ, ਇਜ਼ ਇਟ ਲੋ ਇਨਕਮ ਕੰਟਰੀ, ਇਜ਼ ਇਟ ਹਾਈ ਇਨਕਮ ਕੰਟਰੀ. ਸੋ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਸੀ ਵਰਲਡ ਬੈਂਕ ਦੇ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ. ਦੈਨ देयर वाज क्वेश्चन रिगार्डिंग 60th question was in my set was it was regarding पंजाब च GI tags ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ क्वेश्चन ਸੀ ਕਿੰਨੂੰ GI tag ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ. So जो 40 to 60 questions as an aspirant what I would analyze is that economy च current affairs the related to a lot of emphasis given as well as the static part needs to be strong. So the way they are asking ki usual principal status या angel tax की है, escrow account, so यह चीज़ें पता होनी चाहिए as well as कोई RBI दे कोई बैंकिंग दे रिगार्डिंग नवे इनिशिएटिव्स हैं गवर्नमेंट दे इनिशिएटिव्स इन इकोनॉमिक सेक्टर दे आर इम्पोर्टेंट. सो फॉर इकोनॉमी द करंट अफेयर एज अ स्टैटिक पार्ट that is very important. Also international organization like World Bank similarly or index they hold a lot of important. So ये चीज़ें पता होनी चाहिए. So पंजाब दे रिगार्डिंग the important terms like important चीज़ें like GI tag किस चीज़ में मिले important है. So the next is regarding current static part of polity. So this is a topic regarding comparison between president and governor. So as we know that president union executive the part है ठीक है. So he is the first citizen of India लेकिन governor है that is a part of state executive. So again age 35 plus दोनों side governor president. So and the president should be qualified for Lok Sabha election. Our governor generally somebody who is an outsider that is preferred as governor. So then we have is an oath. So oath president ਨੂੰ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ chief justice of India और अगर CJI अवेलेबल नहीं है तो senior most judge of the Supreme Court. Senior most judge of Supreme Court will give oath. The first thing is that oath will be given by CJI. If CJI is not there, then senior most judge of Supreme Court. लेकिन उत्थे oath governor ਨੂੰ देता है chief justice of High Court. Right? So president the term है 5 years and again governor's term is also 5 years but that is according to president's pressure. Right? And the governor will resign to the president. Here the president will resign give his resignation to Vice President. Again, the President should not be holding any office of profit, Governor should not be holding any office of profit. So emoluments of President, they are decided by Parliament. Again, Governor's emoluments are also decided by Parliament. So again, there should be no criminal proceedings can be initiated against both President and Governor. And if in case of civil cases, then 2 months of notice has to be given in case of both President as well as Governors. And if a Governor is made like of 2 states, like one Governor for Punjab and Haryana, then the allowances, they are shared by 2 states. Right? So President is removed like with impeachment motion, as we know that occurs when there is violation of Constitution, and this term violation of Constitution has not been defined in the Constitution. The meaning has not been defined, right? And we know the motion, so 1/4 of the members have to agree, 14-day notice has to be given, then eventually it has to be passed by 2/3 of total majority of the House, by both the houses. Then the President stands removed. So there's inquiry and all. So then we have as Vice President acts as President. So new election in 6 months it occurs, and at that time the Vice President acts as a President in case of any kind of vacancy or death or resignation. So Vice President would act as President, and the election would be held in 6 months. So again, the Governor, as I said earlier, so he or she is like appointed on the basis of pleasure of President. So there's no ground for no specific ground has been mentioned for his or her removal in the Constitution. So executive powers, executive actions in his name are taken for President, as we know, and executive action of state are taken in the name of Governor. So President appoints Prime Minister, Council of Minister, constitutional bodies like these kind of central bodies. The Central Election Commission hai, Comptroller and Auditor General. So these are appointed by President. So he also declares scheduled areas. However, the Governor appoints State Finance Commission, State Election Commission, State Finance Commission. So sorry, not State Election. So State Finance Commission, State Election Commission, then State Public Service Commission. So ordinance is also passed by Governor. Right. So legislative power has summon, prorogue, dissolve Lok Sabha. President can summon, prorogue and dissolve Lok Sabha. Similarly, Governor can summon, prorogue and dissolve the Legislative Assembly. So again, President calls for joint sitting. Right? So bills become act only when they are signed by President. Right? Again, state bills, they become acts only when they are signed by Governor. So President nominates 12 Rajya Sabha members, and the Governor will nominate 1/6 of state legislative council members. So and President also has a final say during MP disqualification in certain cases, disqualification of MPs in certain cases, like 10th schedule. If it falls in 10th schedule, then the decision will be a speaker, but otherwise President has to take a call. So and similarly, MLA disqualification also in certain cases decided by Governor. So financial power, again we know that prior recommendation for money bill is required. So President, similarly state money bills, so Governor's prior recommendation is required, and they cannot deny signing it, right? Sorry, it is that they cannot send it back to the other house. So they can accept it or reject it, cannot send it back, money bill, right? Next is also President constitutes Finance Commission, right? So and here Governor constitutes the State Finance Commission. So judicial powers, as we know that President appoints the Chief Justice of India, Supreme Court judges, High Court judges, and the Governor appoints district judges. Right? The Governor is consulted by President for High Court judges appointment. Then we have is like court martial and death sentences. In such cases, it can be pardoned by President. However, Governor cannot pardon a death sentence. Apart from them, President he can commute the sentence, he can pardon the sentence, he can reprieve, respite and remission. Similarly, Governor can also do that, but in case of death sentence, Governor cannot pardon the death sentence. It has to be pardoned by President itself. So next is regarding Punjab PCS. So the topic is forest and protected areas. So area of Punjab is nearly 50,362 kilometers square. So 50,362 kilometers square is nearly the area of Punjab, and forest cover is nearly 3,000 kilometers square. It's like 3,084 kilometers square to be precise, which is 6.12% of geographical area. So according to the latest state of forest report, only we can say that we'll have to see the latest, so that we know that properly which is reserved area, reserved forest area, which is protected forest area and so on. So tentatively it's like Hoshiarpur has 21% of forest area, so which is the highest. So then Roopnagar is 19%, SAS Nagar is, which is Mohali, is 12%. So according to Champion and State classification, so Punjab has tropical dry deciduous forest, Punjab has tropical thorn forest, and then they have a subtropical pine forest. These are the areas. So apart from these things, they are protected area also, like where normal civilian movement and construction activities they cannot be done, so they are protected areas. So there are 13 wildlife sanctuaries, there are 6 Ramsar sites, there are 4 conservation reserve, 4 community reserves, and then there are zoological parks also. So these are the protected areas. So 13 wildlife sanctuaries, like Abohar Wildlife Sanctuary, that's in Fazilka, Bir Ashwan, so that's in Sangrur, Bir Bhatson Patiala, Bir Buneri Patiala, Bir Dosanj in Patiala, Bir Gurdialpura in Patiala, Bir Mahaswala in Patiala, Bir Moti Bagh in Patiala, so Harike Lake Wildlife Sanctuary in Taran, then Nangal Wildlife Sanctuary in Roopnagar, then Jhajjar Bacholi in Roopnagar, then Katlur Kushlian in Pathankot, Takani Rahampur in Hoshiarpur. So these are the wildlife sanctuaries, 13 wildlife sanctuaries that we have. So we can see that they are in districts like Hoshiarpur, Pathankot, Roopnagar, Taran, Patiala, Sangrur, Fazilka. Then Ramsar sites, 6 Ramsar sites are there, which is like Keshavpur, Myani, so that's in Gurdaspur. Then Beas Ramsar site, Nangal Ramsar site, then Ropar Lake Ramsar site, then Kanjali Ramsar site, which is in Bain River, okay, so which is a tributary of Beas River. Then Harike Ramsar site is the border of Taran and Firozpur. So the conservation reserve, which is uh, the governor, basically the state government takes care of it, so it's conservation reserve. So Beas River Conservation Reserve, so from Talwara to Harike headworks it is there. Then Ranjit Sagar Conservation Reserve, Pathankot, Ropar Wetland, in Roopnagar. Then Raksari Amanat Khan Conservation Reserve, that's in Amritsar. So these 4 conservation reserves are there, so Pathankot, Roopnagar, Amritsar, and from Talwara to Harike headworks, conservation reserves. Next we have is community reserve. Now here, as the name suggests, the community also participates in preserving those reserves, so in protecting those areas. So community also participates with the state government. So Siswan Community Reserve is there, that's in SAS Nagar, Mohali. And Lalwan Community Reserve in Hoshiarpur, Keshavpur Champ in Gurdaspur. So Paniwala, Gunjal, Haripur, Diwan Khera in Fazilka. So there are community reserves in Fazilka, Gurdaspur, Hoshiarpur, SAS Nagar, and conservation reserve in Amritsar, Roopnagar, Pathankot, and from Talwara to Harike headworks. So zoological park is Mohinder Chaudhary in Mohali, then Tiger Safari in Ludhiana, Deer Park Neelon, and that's in Ludhiana, then Deer Park Bir Moti Bagh in Patiala, Deer Park Bir Talab in Bathinda. So these are the various protected areas of Punjab.